Broncos received the opening kickoff, they strung together a 14-play drive and ended up scoring 3 points off the legs of Will Lutz. 28-yarder on 4th and 6 from the Buffalo 10. So they go up 3-0 to start the game. After that, Josh Allen and the Bills responded with a opening touchdown drive where we saw Nicole Hardman catch the touchdown pass. Not a name that I even knew was on the Bills roster. Maybe he got picked up during the week. I know that they are mightily banged up with Josh Palmer's injury, Gabe Davis's injury, all sorts of guy kind of dropped dead right out of the playoffs for the Bills. So Nicole Hardman out of the woodworks, and he scores the opening touchdown. Then we see a Broncos 3-and-out to start the second quarter. And after that, we have the first of several mistakes from Josh Allen and the Bills. We have this one not being necessarily Josh Allen's fault, but a fumble by James Cook that leads to a Broncos touchdown. James Cook fumbled it with 13:27 left in the second quarter, and the Broncos took just 3 minutes and 47 seconds to drive down the field. Well, down the field, but yeah, 69 yards, and then punch it in for the touchdown. It was a pass to Crumb. F. Crumb. Reporting as eligible, big man DD. And so, with that, we see the Broncos retake the lead 10-7. And after that, the Bills take 7.5 minutes off the clock in a drive that just ends in a field goal. They fumbled in the red zone and luckily were able to fall back on it. And on 3rd and 9, they couldn't complete the pass to Keon Coleman, so they settled for 3 and tied up the game 10-10. After that, with just over 2 minutes left in the first half, the Broncos repossessed the ball, and they strung together an 11-play drive that resulted in a touchdown to Lil Jordan on 3. Lil Jordan kind of let the team down earlier in the game by dropping a very, very catchable ball, I believe on the opening series of the game, so he gets to redeem himself and put the Broncos up 7 points heading into halftime. Now, when the Bills get the ball back, it is returned for 27 yards by Ray Davis, and they're at their own 30. So Buffalo from their own 30 with 16 seconds left, and I don't think they had a single timeout at this point. Maybe they had one. They decide they're gonna run a play. I'm not mad at the play. I'm mad at how they executed, because Josh Allen didn't have anyone open, so he ran it up the middle, ball in one hand, and he kind of gets tackled, spun around, and the ball comes flying out backwards. And so it's a loose ball. The Broncos jump on it, and now all of a sudden they're in field goal range. So just a crazy boneheaded play from Josh Allen to give the Denver Broncos 3 more points right before the half. And yeah, they nailed the kick, the 50-yarder. And so all of a sudden what could have been a 4-point deficit turns into a 10-point deficit, or even it could have stayed 7. But just horrible decision making by Josh. We start the third quarter with the Bills having the ball, so they're thinking, alright, us our opportunity to make up for this mistake. And they fumble again. Josh Allen once again sacked and fumbles. So you're in 10-point hole, and it just keeps getting worse. This sets up the Broncos at the 17-yard line, so they're already set up in their own red zone, or in the red zone. And luckily, the Buffalo Bills defense is able to kind of save the game for them at this point. They limit the Broncos to just 2 yards, in part due to a 5-yard penalty. And so, what ends up happening is, I think that was intentional actually, I take that back. They held the Broncos to 7 yards, and then the Broncos intentionally took a delay of game so that they could move the ball back for the kick. I don't really remember the sequence, but I'm gonna trust that's how it played out. Anywho, then we get another Will Lutz field goal, making the Broncos up 13-23 to 10. So it's a nearly 2-touchdown lead at this point. The Bills have to do something to stay in it. And luckily, they do. They finally stop making mistakes. We see a 9-play, 73-yard drive that ends in a Josh Allen touchdown pass to Keon Coleman for 10 yards. And then it's the Broncos' turn to deliver something. How are they going to respond? They go 3 plays, 5 yards, and then they throw a pick. Bo Nix trying to throw for Evan Ingram, and it's picked off. So, it's a 6-point game. Buffalo has all the time in the world to get back into it. How do they respond? With a pick of their own. We see a negative 4-yard pass play on first down, and on 2nd and 14, Josh Allen goes deep for Curtis Samuel, and it gets picked off by Pete Locke. And so, a very sloppy game, mostly by the Bills, but we do see a mistake from the Broncos as well. Neither team able to capitalize on what's going on as the Broncos punt the ball away back to the Bills. And then to open up the 4th quarter, the Bills, they finally get the jitters out. They get some solid runs in, and then a 46-yard pass between Josh Allen and Khalil Shakir. Big catch and run up the middle of the field, and it results in a touchdown pass between Allen and Dalton Kincaid. So, what was once a 13-point lead, now all but squandered. It is now 24-23 in favor of the Bills. So the Broncos, they get the ball and they go 3 and out, which is quite frankly the worst thing you can do. But the Bills on their following drive are not able to take it all the way home. They try and waste time at this point. They got the ball back. There was 11:50 on the clock, and they managed to burn 7 minutes and 39 seconds. But they can't finish it off. 3rd and 8 at the Denver 12. Allen tries to find Shakir, and he's unable to connect, so they have to go for the field goal on 4th and 8. The 31-yarder is good, so we see the Buffalo Bills go up 4 points at this point, which does put pressure on the Broncos to score that touchdown and take the lead. So the Broncos get the ball, and in 3 minutes and 16 seconds, 8 plays, 73 yards, they managed to go down the field. And with 55 seconds left on the clock, Bo Nix finds Marvin Mims running up the left sideline for a touchdown, 26-yard touchdown pass, perfectly placed ball by by Bo Nix. Great effort by Marvin Mims on the touchdown catch. He essentially died on the play. I mean, he got it and instantly was down, and everyone was celebrating. It was like a bittersweet moment because he didn't know, is he really hurt? But obviously, playoff game stakes are high. Everyone's so excited that they just took the lead over the Bills with just under a minute left. And so now the Broncos are up 30-27. We see Josh Allen operate with 55 on the clock. Down 3, they need a field goal to take it overtime or a touchdown to win it. And the Bills, they get as far as the Buffalo 41-yard line. Still got 24 seconds left, a timeout in their pocket. If they can, I mean, they have a shot, they have a chance to try and get it in there. And this is where I think I don't really agree with what they were doing. They had a timeout in their pocket, and they chose to pass on first down, second down, third down, first down and second down. I get it. You're trying to go big or go home, get the whole thing, win the game. But after you don't get any yards on first and second, third down, get a little run, set up your kicker. Maybe it goes for like 6 yards. Make it nice and manageable. Stop the clock with no time left. Or not no time, but like 3 seconds. But instead, they chose to throw it again. And so they forced Matt Prater to kick a 50-yard field goal to send it to OT. And I didn't think he was going to make it. I mean, I was a little bit scared for him. But he knocked it through, and we saw this game go to overtime. And in overtime, the Broncos, they had the opening possession. So they tried to move the ball. They moved it a measly 10 yards, and then they were forced to punt. So 13-18 on the clock. All the Bills need is a field goal, and they can win this game, advance to the AFC Championship game. And what do? They keep the ball for 9 plays. They move 29 yards. And in the most controversial play of this playoffs thus far, Josh Allen slings it deep on 3rd and 11 to Brandon Cooks down the center of the field. He is at his own 36. This ball travels as far as the Denver 20-yard line. So it's a huge potential chunk play. And Brandon Cooks goes up in the air, catches the ball, comes down with it. But then all of a sudden, you see him just like laying on the floor. And all of a sudden, Jaquan McMillan has the ball in his hands. So no one really knows what happens. Did he catch it or was it intercepted? And they show the replay, and it's like one fluid motion of Cooks going up to catch it, coming down with the ball kind of not really ducking it, but he's coming down with the ball. He hits the ground and kind of rolls over, and as he's rolling over, the ball leaves his hand and falls perfectly into McMillan's hand, and it never once touches the ground. And by the end of the play, Brandon Cooks looks injured practically, and McMillan has the ball in his hands and he's prancing around, and no one knows what to call it. Is it an interception? Is it a catch? The announcers, they don't know. The rules analyst is saying it should be an interception because he did not survive the process of the catch, did not survive the ground, and the whole world is basically at an impasse. No one knows. But they rule it an interception, and the Broncos get the ball back. set up at their own 20-yard line. They marched down the field 75 yards thanks to a few well-timed penalties, one on Deron Johnson and the other on Tre'Davious White. Tre'Davious White, who made the game-saving play last week, has one of the worst times penalties that someone can have. DPI called on him against Marvin Mims for 30 yards to keep the Broncos in field goal range. I mean, put them fully in field goal range. And then he crashes out, yells at the ref. I don't think he got ejected, but he got another unsportsmanlike conduct. And then, first and goal at the 5, Broncos kick the field goal, and they win it. They win it in overtime, 33-30. They were advancing to the AFC Championship game. Every year, heartbreaking loss for Buffalo. They cannot lose in blowout fashion. It has to be at the very last second. I feel like this is the third straight year. Maybe not the third straight, but of the last 6 Buffalo playoff runs, 3 of them have had kind of like a crazy call. Last year, it was the spotting of the ball against the Chiefs. This year, it's the interception call. But that's football. So, we got some key stats from this game. Josh Allen, leading passer for the Buffalo Bills. He goes 25 of 39 for 3 touchdowns, 283 yards, but also 2 interceptions, and how many fumbles? 2 fumbles. Very sloppy game from the MVP of last year. Then we had James Cook with 24 carries for 117 yards, and finally Dalton Kincaid with 6 catches, 83 yards, and a touchdown. As for the Broncos, Bo Nix, 26 of 46 for 279, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. He also was the leading rusher with 12 carries for 29 yards, and Marvin Mims Jr. led the Broncos wide receivers with 8 catches for 93 yards and a touchdown, and that is why I have him as the offensive player of the game for this Broncos-Bills matchup. I think naturally everyone would have picked Josh Allen to win player of the game heading into it. A very sloppy performance from Josh Allen, both mechanically and critically, just not showing high intelligence in a very high-stakes game. But yeah, Marvin Mims Jr. stepping up in the big game. He averaged 3 catches a game per regular season contest, but in this one he finished with 8 catches. He also got the go-ahead touchdown towards the end of regulation to put all the pressure back on the Bills to go out and tie it or win it. So I think not only is he the offensive player of the game, but no, that's it. There's nowhere else that statement was going. Anywho, as for the defensive player of the game, I'm gonna give it to Malcolm Roach of the Denver Broncos defense. Magnificent game from Roach. He had 5 total tackles, 1.5 sacks, 1 tackle for loss, 3 quarterback hits, and a fumble recovery. It was all over Josh Allen in that offensive line. I mean, this Denver D-line was, I wouldn't say smothering, but they were making life very difficult for Allen, causing mistakes that he usually doesn't make, and putting the pressure on at all times. Multiple interceptions, multiple fumbles. I mean, they did their part as best they could to make life hard on Allen. And the play of the game, it's gonna come as no surprise, but I have to give it to Jaquan McMillan for forcing the interception on Brandon Cooks in overtime. Because, yeah, you can say, you can blame it on the refs, but really, in the biggest game of his life, the biggest moment of his life, Jaquan McMillan makes the play of the year for the Denver Broncos, game-saving interception to win it for them. I mean, obviously, they could have missed the kick or something else could have gone bad, but up until that moment, after the Broncos went 4-0, it looked like the Bills had every right to win that game. So for him to go out there and steal that ball away, hard to say he didn't have the play of the game. And my general thoughts and takeaways on this one. I'm interested to see how the rules will change. I feel like every year that the Bills lose in this kind of way, we see some sort of rule change that follows. We had obviously the whole overtime rule change after the 13 seconds by Mahomes and company. Then last year with the ball placement, controversy, we saw virtual measurements get added to the game. And it kind of feels like the Buffalo Bills are the NFL's golden child, where even though they haven't won one and they keep getting close and not quite there, it's like the league really does want them to get to that mark. And I'm not mad at it. I actually was rooting for the Bills through the whole game. And I felt really bad that they lost, because it's always just in such a painful manner. Now I got all these edits of Josh Allen crying in the post game, and the Bills firing Sean McDermott, which I think is crazy. I do not agree with that one bit. Yes, there's been a lot of coaching turnover with Harbaugh and Tomlin, and you're taking your historically winning quarterbacks and trying to get a change, but Tomlin just tied the most losses in a row in the playoffs, like 7 straight losses in the playoffs. I mean, he was due for a change. He could win the regular season, but the time had come. And Harbaugh won a Super Bowl a really long time ago. And so he stayed around for a while, but management decided they want to go a different direction. That's fine. But McDermott has been in the league a lot less long than those other guys. The amount of success that he's had in these 8-9 years that he's been here for the team that he's been coaching. I mean, he brought them out of the playoff drought, took them to 6 straight AFC East championships. All these good things, and suddenly, one year, they don't win the AFC East. Yeah, they hit another ball. They lose. Is it really his fault, though? Did he throw those picks, or fumble the ball away, or build the roster? I don't think so. I think that this roster is lackluster, and which is why I was such a big fan of Josh Allen winning the MVP last year, because this roster really shouldn't have won the division last year, and they were electric. So a lot of weight has been on Josh Allen's shoulders, a lot of weight has been on McDermott's shoulders, and the Bills, they get rid of McDermott in what looks like a scapegoat move. I don't know that the Bills are going to be better because of this. I think they've always been a step away, and now they're 2 steps away. So I feel bad for Buffalo. It's been a horrible week for them. Yeah, Tre'Davious White is DPI. I think those deserve. I mean, clearly defensive pass interference, unfortunate timing, and it was a handsy game. I do think it's unfortunate that they started calling things in the very last drive when they didn't call all that much all game long. I think the first one kind of went under the radar. That one not as big of an issue, the one on Johnson. But Trey White, it was clear for an all this like Bills despair, we have possibly the saddest news of the bunch. Bo Nix's ankle injury, and it seems that in that final drive for the Broncos, Nix just got hurt on one of those runs, shattered a bone in his ankle, and now has had surgery. He's out for the playoffs, and it's going to be Jarrett Stidham at quarterback for the Broncos. Wow, I don't know. Just an hour after the game ended, they announced that, and I really had no idea how to react. Just devastating for the Broncos, absolutely gutted for them. What could have been a Super Bowl run. I mean, it still can be, but you obviously feel way more comfortable with your franchise quarterback and Bo Nix leading to the playoffs last year, beating the team that knocked them out in round 1 last year, got them the home field advantage. I know that people have their reluctancies and hesitancies about the guy, but he was their leader and now just gone. It's rough. It's definitely, my heart goes out to the Buffalo Bills and the Denver Broncos fans because this is not the result that anyone was hoping for. Just horrible way to go out of the playoffs for Knicks and the Bills. I feel bad for both. And yeah, we'll have to see how the Broncos defense is able to keep them in it next week. Just because, I mean, we've seen it before. Peyton Manning kind of like weekend at Bernie's out there in his final year where he wanted not a good quarterback by any mean or measure, but the defense was able to get done. So if they can go on a run like that once again, hang in there for 2 more games, maybe they'll be able to do something. But Broncos fans have to put their hopes in Jarrett Stidham, who has 4 starts in 7 years. So best of luck to you guys. Alright, so after that, we move into our second game of the Saturday slate in this divisional round, which was the 6th-seeded San Francisco 49ers versus the 1st-seeded Seattle Seahawks. And this was a whooping by the Seahawks, a 41-6 victory by the Seahawks over their division rival in the 49ers. It was determined from the first play itself. The Seahawks, if they just played 10 seconds of football and nothing more in this game, they still would have won. An absolutely electric start to the game by Rashid Shaheed. Trade deadline acquisition by this Seahawks front office. He returns the opening kickoff, takes it 95 yards to the house, and puts 7 on the board for the Seahawks. In a lot of ways, this game reminded me of the Broncos Seahawks Super Bowl from Super Bowl 48, was it? Yeah. Just electric all game long for the Seahawks. Everything was going right for them. I don't know that I saw them make a single mistake in this game. It was quite frankly intimidating. I mean, they look like the best team in football at the moment based on this performance. And the 49ers, they knew it all throughout. They were desperate in this game from the very get-go. Already down 7 off the opening kickoff. They get the ball. They don't move it at all. They get to the Seattle 40-yard line, which is not very far, just past midfield. And on 4th and 1, they already decide to go for it. I mean, you could say it's the right play. A field goal from there would be like 55 yards. Maybe you don't trust Pinero's leg, or maybe you just don't trust your team to get it done. I think they more so felt the second, and they decide to go for it. It's immediately botched. A fumble that is touched by Dexter Lawrence, goes out of bounds. They lose 3 yards, and immediately, you've set up the Seahawks at pretty good field position. So, 49ers are playing with Ben Johnson mentality. The Seahawks, they capitalize immediately. They go down, score a field goal. 49ers come back out, looking to right the ship a little bit, already down 10-0. And we know that they're super mega injured in this game, so we have a lot of backups playing. Brock Purdy has to get the ball out creatively, and he's trying. In the first series, he tried. In the second series, he connects with Jake Donges for 11 yards, and then the ball gets jarred loose and recovered by the Seahawks. So nothing is going right at all for the 49ers. The Seahawks quickly go down the field, connect on a touchdown to Jackson Smith and Jigba, and now they're up 17-0 in the first quarter. I think everyone at this point had a feeling that the game might be over just with how they came out. Yes, I mean, with the right circumstances, the right personnel, the 49ers could have made life difficult for Sam Darnold, but you need pressure, and the 49ers were the worst team in the league this year at generating pressures and sacks. So, had a feeling that Darnold would be able to sit back there, relax, enjoy, not really have to worry too much about getting the ball out quickly, and they weren't going to force him into too many mistakes, and he played as well as he needed to, not on a super impressive day, but they didn't need him to win, really. They were able to win, just in all other phases, so they didn't have to call upon Darnold to do anything crazy. Yeah, it wasn't until the second quarter that we saw the 49ers finally got on the board. They scored a field goal, and then we saw a 3-and-out from the Seahawks, which was kind of shocking. And if the 49ers had done anything on the following drive, maybe this could have been a game. But 5 minutes and 40 seconds, 10 plays, 57 yards later, they had to settle for a field goal. They could have had points earlier. This time they offered the points. But now you're down 11. It still feels like not enough. I think this was, if you're going to be that desperate at the beginning of the game, you have to keep up the desperation. Ben Johnson, he showed it in the Packers game. It's not smart football, but you set a precedent when you go for it that early, and you kind of have to keep digging yourself into that same hole. 49ers, they bail from that script, and yeah, now, I don't know, you look a little more pathetic. So, 4.5 minutes left, you're down 11, Seattle gets the ball back, they waltz their way down the field and score another touchdown, and now you're down 24-6 at halftime. Look, I was rooting for the Niners a little bit. I like their underdog, super battered and bruised story. Christian McCaffrey doing it all just on his arms and legs. But there was no way they were going to overcome this. And yeah, we see them now down as much as they are. They go for it on 4th down. 4th and 2. Purdy gets sacked. So turnover on downs. Seattle gets a field goal to go up 27-6. Next drive, 49ers 2 plays, then a pick. Then another touchdown by Seattle to go up 34-6. Then turnover on downs by San Francisco. Another touchdown by Seattle, 41-6 at this point. And then a fumble on the next 49ers possession. So it isn't until the very last possession of the second half that the 49ers finally punted again. They were just super desperate the entire second half, and they couldn't generate anything. I mean, this defense was claustrophobic, to say the least. I don't know. It was a nightmare matchup for the 49ers. Probably one of the worst games they've played in the last 5 years on one of the biggest stages. Game of a lifetime for the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah, obviously they've won Super Bowls and things like that, so not the most important of games to them, but in this year's conquest for the Super Bowl trophy, I think a lot of people, maybe me, maybe just me, weren't taking them as seriously. This makes you wonder who can take down this team. They look good. They look damn good. Can't even front. But let's talk about the stat leaders of this game. We had Brock Purdy, 15 of 27 for 140 yards and a pick. I don't think you can really blame Purdy in this one. He also had 5 carries for 37 yards as their leading rusher. He was doing everything he could. I mean, he was scrambling out to his right, making it to his 5th read, throwing it across his body back to someone like 3 yards down the field, getting the completion. Just first downs. Any yardage was so hard for the 49ers to come by. I think in the same way that you really should not blame Justin Herbert for the loss in wildcard weekend, I don't think this on Purdy one bit. As far as the Seahawks players though, Sam Darnold, he only threw the ball 17 times, completing 12 of those passes for 124 yards, and he had the 1 touchdown toss. Kenneth Walker, the third, with a monster game. He had 19 carries for 116 yards and 3 touchdowns. And Cooper Kupp led the way for the Seattle wide receivers, 5 catches for 60 yards. He got going early. I think he had 3 catches in like the first 2 drives of the game itself. It was good to see him get involved early on because, I don't know, Coop, sometimes he just feels less. He's a shell of himself at this point, but we saw glimpses of the old Coop with how much action he got early on. It was nice to see. Offensive player of the game, it's got to go to Kenneth Walker. I mean, bro absolutely took over as the workhorse once Charbonnet went down. Logged well over 6 yards per carry in this game. Elite. I mean, the blocking was just insane. Both offensively and defensively. The 49ers could do nothing at the line of scrimmage. The Seahawks were clobbering them. So, offensively, they're blocking like 20, 30 yards down the field, creating great lanes for Walker to run through, and he ran it in 3 separate times. Just one of his best games. And defensively, defensive player of the game, I've got to give to Ernest Jones the 4th. 6 tackles, 1 PBU, pass bad, and pass breakup, 1 forced fumble, and 1 interception. He really did it all in this game. Was a one-man wrecking crew against the 49ers. It made Purdy's life very difficult. In the play of the game, first play of the game itself, it was the Rashid touchdown. I mean, what an electric way to start off the game, get the building pumping. I mean, nerves were already high for the 49ers. They knew they were underdogs, heavy underdogs. Just because of all the injuries on the offense. They don't really have anyone outside of Purdy and McCaffrey. And then you're immediately in that hole. I think it got to their head. They went for that first 4th down, threw away the entire game script. And if they didn't, the game script was just flat out bad because they were not up to the task. So, great never really looked back. I mean, they had that 1-3 and out, but they won this game like it was light work, like this was a week 4 matchup. It was crazy. Anywho, after that, my thoughts and takeaways. I was concerned for the Seahawks early on just because of the Sam Darnold oblique injury. I don't know where that came from. I never heard about it prior to this week. All of a sudden, like Wednesday, Thursday, they're talking about this oblique flare-up and how he's questionable to play. And it's like, how did he get hurt in the bye? What are you guys talking about? And they're making it seem like a real game time decision. So that I was like, are they just preparing an excuse? Like, how's he all of a sudden crippled when he was playing fine just 2 weeks ago? And he did look a little hobbled out there, but didn't seem to bother him too much. And yeah, I mean, Donald, as I said before, he wasn't the reason why they won this game. He played a good part. I mean, did his job very well and executed, but I think that was just everyone, special teams, defense, offense, no one messed up really. Everyone just did exactly what they were supposed to do perfection, and they won this with a huge, huge margin. And yeah, the only real negative from this game would have to be the torn ACL from Zach Charbonnet, the Robin to Kenneth Walker's Batman. Really more like a thing 1, thing 2. There's such a split backfield. So you hate to see a guy like that go down, especially this late into the season. But Kenneth Walker did a good job stepping up to the plate with those extra carries. Yeah, for the 49ers, you got your last couple of plays out of McCaffrey. I think it was 460, 470 total touches for him this year. He battled through it all, managed to put together another healthy season. Yeah, I don't know that we see another one like this from him. Unfortunate that this may be how it ends. I'm not saying that he's going to retire or he's going to go out sad or anything like that, but you rarely see running backs be able to handle this kind of workload 2 straight years. Something's going to give. And yeah, while he was efficient in the passing game, I feel like this might be the last great season we see from him. And yeah, sorry to Niner fans. Next up, we have a game between the 5th-seeded Houston Texans and the 2nd-seeded New England Patriots. In a game in which the Patriots won very sloppily, climbed their way to a 20-16 victory over the Texans on Sunday. This was a battle through crazy weather, but the weather was not the craziest thing about this game. Definitely both quarterbacks playing unbelievably, but not in a good way. Let's go through it. Let's go through the game story of this one. Obviously, we know how the Patriots defense played last week against the Chargers, and we know that this Texans defensive unit, if not statistically number 1, by the eye test, the number 1 defense in the NFL, is rampant in their pursuit of the quarterback and their hard-hitting ability. Both offenses struggle right off the bat. We see 2 3-and-outs to start this game, just 2 minutes off the clock. Patriots get the ball back on their second drive, and they're able to put together some nice passes, some nice runs, and they decide to go for 4th and 1 at the Houston 28-yard line. And this, I think, is a little bit different from the Niners, because the Patriots have been playing pretty aggressively all season long. Vrabel definitely, as he took the reins, has been more of a go for it on 4th down kind of guy. And works out beautifully in their favor as Drake May finds a wide open Demario Douglas whose defender essentially just fell down on the route, so he zips right past him and goes in for 6. And the Patriots go up 7-3 to start the game. Wait, 7-0. Getting ahead of myself. The Texans then respond by scoring 3 on a field goal. They move the ball 65 yards in 4 minutes. And we see Fairbairn knock it in on 4th and goal. They had gotten all the way up to 3rd and goal at the New England 1. But there was a 5-yard penalty on the touchdown run. They actually got Woody Marks to score the touchdown, but the refs called it back on in an illegal shift. So the 5-yard penalty set up a pass instead, and the pass fell incomplete. So Texans have to go for 6 instead, or go for 3. Anyway, after that, the Patriots, they have a horrific series where they have a 0-yard run to start, then they have an incomplete pass, and then Greg May gets sacked for 10 yards and fumbles, and is recovered by Will Campbell at New England's own 3-yard line. So it gets recorded as a 19-yard loss on 3rd and 10. So from their own end zone, Bryce Behringer has to punt, and he punts it basically to midfield for the Texans to take over, and they have great field position, so this is the ample time for them to strike. 5 plays, 11 yards, and we see C.J. Stroud complete a pass to Carlton Davis, not to Christian Kirk, but to the Patriots defender, Carlton Davis. I'm not gonna lie, he had a couple picks in this game. I don't fully remember which one this was. It might have been the one that looked like he was out of bounds, because he got one, and there was no way in hell he got both feet down. So I was like, great play on the ball. I don't think he got it. Then they showed the replay. So what really happened was he got it, and as he was going to the ground, he had his knee out, and his knee came down like a centimeter. It hit the ground right before the white out of bounds line. So 1 knee equals 2 feet, and that's how he was able to get rolled inbounds for the interception. If that's the one this one was, guess what? It was a very impressive catch. So the Patriots halt the Texans from ruining their, lead. And they have an opportunity to do something now. So they have a 5-yard run. And then Greg May on 2nd and 5 tries to pick up the yards himself. He dives for the first down marker before he is able to get down by contact. The ball gets jarred loose by Togiai and is recovered by Shahir. So they show the angle. And surely enough, as he's launching himself, ball gets punched out and it's a fumble. So we've already seen a potential fumble, and now we see a real fumble by the Patriots after a C.J. Stroud interception. So, I don't know, it's such a gimme. Have you ever seen that one SpongeBob episode where it's like, let him have it, and then he takes, I don't really remember what the exact scene is. It's like, but he says I'm taking that, and here it is. I'm butchering it, but this whole game was like that. It was like, wow, the defense fought so hard for you to climb out of this position or put you in this position. How is the offense gonna respond? And then they just turned it over. So that's what happened here. You get the interception, you move 5 yards, and then you fumble the ball. So now the Texans are set up very nicely. And this time they do get the touchdown. It's a touchdown toss to Christian Kirk for 10 yards. And now the Texans are up 10-7 over the Patriots. Patriots then get the ball. They move just 12 yards, and they're forced to punt again. And at this point, I'm a little worried because we've already fallen down in the game. Texans defense looks great. We've made 2 potential fumbles. We're gonna need the defense to do something here. So in my mind, I'm sitting on the couch thinking like, okay, defense, lock in. Please do something. It's the craziest thing. It's almost as if they hurt me because CJ Stroud, he throws the ball, does not at all go how it's supposed to go. I forget if it was dipped or if he just released it weird. It got batted. Ball's up in the air. It's caught by Marcus Jones. He grabs it, runs for the pylon. Doesn't quite. There's an obstacle in his way. There's a defender, and he like almost rolls over them. But he hits the pylon before going out of bounds, and it's a pick six. So just like that first play of the next drive, CJ Stroud throws a pick six to put the Patriots back on top. CJ Stroud for MVP. Yeah, so Patriots were down for like a total of 5 seconds, but now they're back up 14-10. And Stroud needs to shake off his pick. So he, on the next drive, naturally throws another interception, this time trying to target Xavier Hutchinson. He gets intercepted by Greg Woods. So, 2 picks for CJ Stroud in a very limited span. The Patriots, they do nothing with it. They go 2 yards in 3 plays. They're forced to punt. Texans also go 3 and out, so both offenses are completely stalled. They're either turning the ball over or they're stalled, but they do have a touchdown apiece. After the Texans go 3 and out, the Patriots, they finally get something going. They get a deep shot from Drake May to Keyshawn Boutte for 25 yards to get the drive started. Then a little run, another long pass to Boutte for 18 yards, and they cap it off with a Stephon Diggs touchdown catch. A very strong-handed catch by Diggs to put New England up 21-10. So, even though the offense has not been playing well by any means, they find themselves up by 11 points thanks to the defense's performance. And then CJ Stroud, he throws another pick. Starts the next drive, 4 plays, they get a couple penalties. First it's a 5-yard penalty on Houston. That's a 20-yard penalty on Carlton Davis for defensive pass interference. That gives the Texans a little bit of momentum. They have a negative 4-yard run on first down. Then, on 2nd and 14, they pick up the first down on a 16-yard pass. And then on 1st and 10 from midfield, CJ Stroud throws to throw another pass intended for Xavier Hutchinson and picked off once again by Carlton Davis. So very up and down first half for Davis. He had no interceptions all year long. Number 1 most penalized guy on this Patriots team for all those DPIs. But he has 2 picks in the first half, so all's forgiven. Patriots, they do nothing, go 3 and out. Texans, they do nothing, go 3 and out. And then the Patriots, with 36 seconds left, they try and do something. They get a little past midfield, and they decide they'll go for the Hail Mary. It gets picked off in the end zone, so a fitting end to a very sloppy first half. Brings us to the second half. At this point, the commentators have given up on CJ Stroud. I think it was Aikman that was already saying, like, yeah, they have to be wondering, are they going to... Wait, was it Aikman or was it Joe Buck? One of the two was saying, like, yeah, they might be wondering, like, is Davis Mills going to be starting in the second half? Well, what do you think? And I don't know that Davis, like, benching CJ Stroud for the first half performance, I don't think would have made a big difference. Davis Mills, while he won them a couple games in the middle of the season, I think he's worse. I think he's definitely worse than CJ. CJ is the one who took all the first team reps, is the most prepared for it. So leave him in the game, see if you can come back. You're only down 11. You have the second half possession to open the third quarter. You can make it a one-score game, and they do. They didn't get the touchdown, but the rain lightens up a little bit. CJ gets some passes out. They finally are able to run the ball. They run quite well and effectively on that drive, and they end up scoring the field goal. They get all the way to the red zone, to the 7-yard line, but they can't do anything on 3rd and 2, so they settle for 3. And then now it's 13-21. Patriots get the ball. Patriots on their third play, they fumble again. So that's 3 fumbles in this game by Drake May. Will Anderson forces it, is recovered by Shair once again, and Morgan Moses gets injured during the play. So pretty well into Patriots territory at the 33-yard line. CJ Stroud and this Texans team have the ability to climb completely back into the game, down just 8. Oh, we see another fumble. Woody Marks gets tackled by Christian Gonzalez and is it Elijah Ponder? Shoot, what is Ponder? Yeah, okay, it is Elijah. Yeah, Ponder and Gonzalez. Bo is going for the tackle. Really, Gonzalez is going for the strip. He punches it out, and then they fall on it. Another turnover. I mean, it's just like pandemonium every time. One team has the opportunity to go up or go down or anything. It's just, another turnover. Truly just defensive masterclass by both teams. So yeah, they force the fumble, and the Patriots, yet again, 3 and out. So, Texans get the ball back. It's really just a ball placement game. I think it was Drake May who, before the game, said, like, yeah, our keys to the game are to kick the ball. Every drive should end in a kick, whether it's a field goal, an extra point, or a punt. We have to kick the ball at the end of each drive, which I gotta say is like a top 10 quote to say before a game like this. This might be one of the funniest things a quarterback has said before a game that featured like so little kicking, because the quarterbacks were absolute turnover machines. But yeah, Texans, they get the ball back at the 41-yard line. They managed to muster another field goal before the 4th quarter, turn it into a 16-21 deficit. So now it's just 5 yards. The pressure is on the Patriots. They got to do something now. And so they get the ball, start off with a 14-yard pass to Hooper. Then Drake May gets sacked. Not really sacked, it's just more like a run for 0 yards. Then on 2nd and 10, they get a 2-yard pass, and so sets it up for 3rd and 8. Then on 3rd and 8, they get a 17-yard penalty on Keyshawn Boutte. It was pretty clear DPI. A 6-yard run on 1st and 10, a 0-yard run on 2nd and 4, and on 3rd and 4, they get a 32-yard touchdown pass from Drake May to Keyshawn Boutte. I'll talk more about this play later on, but just all the chips on the table at third down. We've seen the Patriots, connect on a lot of deep passes this year. Stephon Diggs and Keyshawn Booty, contested catch specialist. You've got Kyle Williams running up the field, or speedster. He's got a lot of deep passes as well that have turned into touchdowns. Bob Douglas can, pop one off. That's Booty this time. Great game. And yeah, after that, now it's a 12-point lead for the Patriots. They got uncomfortable for a moment, but then they pulled ahead. Texans at this point, it is their 13 minutes left. They go 3 and out. They punt the ball away, give the ball to the Patriots. Patriots actually have a very successful drive in wasting time. They really just run. They go run, pass. Run, incomplete pass. But in doing so, they managed to turn 6 minutes off the clock. So even though it didn't result in any points, huge drive from them. And with 5 minutes and 48 seconds left, Texans down 12. They barely move the ball. They get to their own 29-yard line. CJ Stroud gets sacked. So it's 4th and 18 at their own 21-yard line. And they punt. And the commentators are confused. I was confused. They really gave up on the game. Like, maybe they thought their defense could force something, but with that much time left, for the type of drive you just gave up, you have to go for it there. I don't know. I mean, 2-possession game. There's 4 minutes left. The timing just does not work out in your favor. There's no way you spin it. You have to. I mean, you could argue the offense has done nothing all game, but turn it over, and the defense has done a good amount for you, but you're gonna lose either way. May as well go down on that field 4th and 18. Then, I mean, like, what do you have to lose? You probably can limit it to just a field goal, and then it's 15 points. That's still 2 possession. I say you go for it there, but they didn't. They gave it to the Pats. The Pats only use up 2 minutes of clock, and then they punt. But now it's under the 2-minute warning. Texans, they this time try to go for it on 4th down, fail miserably, and the game's over. Patriots win 20-16. Golly, just welcome to Chargers and Eagles 2.0. This was such an ugly game, but I'm happy with the results. Key stats in this one: we got CJ Stroud, 20 of 47 passing, 212 yards, 1 touchdown, 4 interceptions. Woody Marks with the worst running back stat line you'll see, 14 carries for 17 yards. Jaden Higgins with 6 catches for 59 yards. For the Patriots, Drake May, on paper it looks good. 16 of 27 for 179, 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. But that hides the multiple fumbles, the 4 fumbles and 2 lost fumbles. Stevenson, he had set 16 carries for 70 yards, and Keyshawn Booty with 3 catches for 75 yards and a touchdown. I think the offensive player of the game, in a game that really was lackluster on the offensive side of the ball, very few people did well and could even be in consideration for this. I think the clear favorite has to be Keyshawn Booty. Those 2 big catches to set up the Patriots' touchdown towards the beginning of the game. The magnificent touchdown grab on their last touchdown to go up 2 scores. Very strong hands. That also drawing the DPI. It was huge. Leading receiver. That's a huge yards per catch, 3 catches, 75 yards. He's Drake May's favorite deep ball target, and he showed why. Just an excellent showing from him. Once again, this year he has been an absolute dog. Defensive player of the game. You could go a lot of ways. I think you very well could give it to Will Anderson Jr. for the way that he played in this game. I wouldn't be mad at that at all. I think he had something like 3 sacks. I don't know if he forced both fumbles, but he forced at least one of them. He was a menace. But I'm gonna give it to Marcus Jones for 2 tackles, 2 pass breakups, 26-yard pick 6 to give the Patriots the lead. I think it's kind of like the reason why the Patriots won, if I'm being honest. I think the offense was super stalled in the first half. It didn't look good at all. They really weren't able to put points on the board, and the fact that the defense could step in and score themselves kind of bailed out the offense, because if they had gone down multiple possessions, that's not really a situation where the Patriots have had to operate out of a lot this year. They've been playing with a lot of leads, scoring a lot of first half touchdowns. They're a very good first half team, and they didn't look good in the first half, just flat out. The offense couldn't move the ball against very good defense, so the fact that defense could generate so many turnovers, I mean, they weren't even able to capitalize on most of them, so it was very nice that Jones was able to get that in himself. And the play of the game, I'm going to give it to the one-handed touchdown grab by Kayshon Boutte. I don't know, just a spectacular catch. I highly recommend you watch the NFL Films version of this pass. You'll see how tight the spiral is in the slate snow that's falling through the air. Goes perfectly to the outstretched arm of Kayshon Boutte. Full extension, he pulls it in, makes the touchdown grab. Such a critical moment in the game. Very impressive athleticism. I was in awe. I was like, okay, I think we got it. I think we won. Finally had something go right on offense. Yeah, great job by Boutte. And my thoughts and takeaways from this game, just kind of mind all over the place. It was constantly going from alright to frick. Yeah, very turbulent game. Lots going wrong. Defense doing its job. Offense didn't look great, but luckily for us, Texans offense looked way, way worse. CJ Stroud getting a lot of slander after this game, and while a good amount of it is deserved, I can't say I blame the guy completely for this loss. Whole season they went without Joe Mixon. To start off the offseason, they traded away their best lineman. Everyone expected this line to be complete, garbage. They ended up being better than most thought, but no Mixon. Get rid of your best. You get rid of Laramie Tunsil, Nico Collins out this game, Dalton Schultz out this game. You really had no one to get the ball to. Then you throw in the game conditions. It was hard. It would have been hard for any quarterback to really have success. Drake May, he made a couple plays here and there, and that ended up putting the Patriots ahead. But you could tell he struggled mightily as well. Not the prettiest of numbers from him either, but luckily he had those few great moments, and that was the difference in this game. Notes for me. If I was in communication, I would say the weak side blocking, something has to change. Will Campbell, we spent that high draft pick on him, and I think for the most part, he's played well. But the first 2 games of the playoffs, he is getting bullied out there. Khalil Mack, now Will Anderson just absolutely driving him back into the quarterback. This is the second straight week where we've seen Drake May just get completely blindsided, not at all aware that there's pressure all the way in his back, and he fumbles the ball. I don't think it's necessarily Drake May's fault, but something in the communication between him and Campbell has to change so that we don't keep seeing this happen. Because it will cost them a game at some point. And then, talking about the Patriots defense, I mean, the Texans defense, we knew the whole season, this is a unit. This is many Pro Bowlers, many All-Pro team members, very hard-hitting. D'Amico Ryans, he runs a good group of guys. Patriots defense, though, they did not finish top 3, but they are very much playing like a top 3 defense. The pressures, the turnovers, it's like they have taken it upon themselves to make it on them to win the games. I really don't know how else to describe it, but the defense as a whole, it's like they're just trying to outdo the opposing defense. You see the Chargers, how they were ranked. You see the Texans, how they were ranked defensively. It's like every single member of the Patriots defense is playing with a chip on their shoulder to say, actually, we are the best defense on the field, and that's exactly how they've been playing, and I hope this is how they keep playing, because both tests have been hard, but this could be the toughest test in the Denver Broncos defense. So yeah, they're gonna have to stay on their A game. We'll see how they match up. Two very, very impressive performances by the Patriots defense. They're absolutely why they won those first 2 games. We'll see if they are able to contain Jarrett Stidham. And finally, that leaves us with our 4th game of the divisional round, which was a matchup between the 5th-seeded LA Rams and the 2nd-seeded Chicago Bears. A game in which the Rams would go on to win it 20-17 in overtime, but it was a thriller at the end, at least. Maybe not through the second half, but at the very end, cinema. We had in this game let's pull it up, the play-by-play. Started off strong by the Bears, or so it seemed. The 5 plays, they moved the ball 42 yards. We see them get all the way up to the red zone. Not quite at the red zone, but they have 3rd and 4 at the Rams' 23-yard line. They get 2 yards on a run, sets them up for 4th and 2 at the Rams' 21. And what are they going to do? We saw last week, we saw all season long. I didn't even need to know before the game even started. I turned to my friend, I said, if the Bears go for it on this opening drive, we crack open the beer. Shortly enough, 4th and 2, they go for it. Caleb Williams tries to throw to Loveland, and once again, he perfectly arm bunts it. It's 4th and 2. He throws it all the way to the goal line, and Kobe Durant catches it at the 1, and then runs it back for 14 yards. But it's another situation where if he just dropped the ball, they would have gained more yardage. So it's I don't know, it's almost like Caleb Williams is doing it intentionally. There was also a huge missed opportunity on this drive. On 2nd and 4, Williams had Roma Dunze honestly guarded pretty well, but he got the ball in the perfect spot for Dunze to make a play on it. And he just had to sit down in the end zone and catch it. And he fumbled the catch, it went straight through his hands. So Bears have no points on their opening possession. Rams get the ball, they turn around, go down the field 85 yards, and they stick it in the end zone on a Kyron Williams touchdown run. And so Rams lead 7-0. Then the Bears, they get the ball back. 12 plays, 80 yards, 6.5 minutes later. They now get on the board for the first time, and you have to imagine it's in Bears fashion. They do it the only way they can think of doing it, on a 4th and goal from the Rams 3-yard line. Caleb Williams makes a short pass to DJ Moore on 4th down. They tie it up 7-7. I don't know. I think after the first drive, I told my friend, like, every drive that they go for on 4th down, we gotta finish a beer. We didn't. There was no way we could keep up with that pace. It was just a joke. But had we actually kept to that, we probably would have been drunk before the halftime. Because Ben Johnson likes to play football in a very particular way. So then we see a 3-and-out from the Rams, and the Bears, they get the ball. They move 5 yards, and surprisingly, they don't go for it. 4th and 5 at their own 25-yard line. They opt to punt. So the streak is over, the dream is dead. And we see the Rams take back over. They don't do much at all either. Faced with a 4th and 11, they make the wide decision to punt. So the Bears get the ball back. 9 minutes left in the second quarter. They start at their own 18. They move it all the way to the LA 32-yard line. And then 4th and 1, they decide to run it with Monongai. And they pick up no yards. He does not get it. They fail to convert on 4th down. So we've seen it all. We have seen 2 failed 4th down attempts. We've seen 1 successful one. The dream is back. Rams get the ball. They do nothing at all. Stafford gets sacked on 3rd down for 13 yards. And so they are forced to punt. And then with 2:54 on the clock, Bears take over once again. Caleb Williams kicks off the drive with a 27-yard pass to Roma Dunze. Sets them up already, but they get a couple runs and another pass to make it a little bit more manageable. And Cairo Santos is able to kick the 48-yard field goal to take the 10-7 lead. Rams get the ball back, 1:10 on the clock. They are itching to score some points as well. They go to the hurry-up offense and also get a 27-yard jump play, this time from Stafford to Tyler Higbee. And after a few more passes, they try to get some more yardage, but they can't. I mean, there's 18 seconds, 1st and 10. They're trying to go for an end zone shot, and they can't get it. So they settle for 3 points as well. Mavis makes the 32-yard field goal. It's a tie game. So 10-10 at half. I'm going to skip forward because we start off the 3rd quarter. Rams punt, Bears punt, Rams punt. And then, get this, the Bears don't punt, but they throw a pick. They move the ball, like, go from the 23 to the 27, up to the 35, lose 5 yards on a penalty, and then another interception by Kobe Durant. So this one was at the 50. Now the Rams have the ball in midfield. 3-and-out. They don't gain a single yard. Just defense is locked in the second half. I wouldn't say it was tough to watch. It was just funny. It's cold weather. Both teams just trying to fight for every yard. They can't do anything. So Bears get the ball back. They punt. Rams get the ball back. 14:52 on the clock, and they actually start running the ball with some success. They pick up a 1st down. Then they get a 35-yard pass play to Colby Parkinson. Another run, a 13-yard pass to Puka, 12-yard pass to Devontae Adams. And then on 1st and goal from the Chicago 5-yard line, Kyren Williams is able to run it in. So, leaves 8:50 on the clock. Bears get the ball back down 7. They are trying to do something. Obviously, they're trying to tie up the game. And they have a 12-play drive that goes for 61 yards. They start from there on 37, and they manage to get all the way to the Rams' 2-yard line. But let's take it back a few more steps. 5 minutes and 14 seconds left. It's 1st and goal from the LA Rams' 5-yard line. Chicago just needs to score a touchdown here, and they will be tied in this game. They get a 2-yard run, so 2nd and goal from the 3. They get a 1-yard run. That's 3rd and goal from the Rams' 0-yard run. 3 straight DeAndre Swift runs, and they can't do anything. So now it's 4th and goal from the 2. I mean, there's 3 minutes left at this point. You have to go for it. You have to go for it. And so they go for it, and they don't get it. So Rams get the ball at the 2-yard line. And yeah, there's a chance for the Bears to get back into the game, but it really feels like they've lost it at this point. This is a 3rd, 4th down that they couldn't convert in this game. And yeah, this one, you have to go for it. I don't think the decision making was wrong at all, but just sad that they couldn't. Rams then get the ball with the idea of wasting time on their minds. They pick up the first down, force Chicago to prison a timeout outside the 2-minute warning, and then they run, and on 3rd and 10, with 2:07 left, Chicago has 1 timeout left. They don't put the ball in Stafford's hands. I was appalled. I was truly floored that they ran the ball with Kyren Williams again. Opted to burn off 7 more seconds rather than just try and get a 1st down and win the game. Disgusting play call, in my opinion. And so they punt. 2 minutes left in the game. Chicago has a whole timeout. They get the ball back. 1:50 on the clock. They get an 18-yard pass play and then a 12-yard run. So just like that, they go from the 50 to 32 to 20. So they're already set up in the red zone. 54 seconds. Now they got a 6-yard pass play. After those 6 yards, it's now 2nd and 4 from the 14-yard line. They can pick up the 1st down and spike it, or they can just go for it all. 2nd and 4, pass falls incomplete for Luther Burden. So now you have 3rd and 4. 3rd and 4, pass falls incomplete for DJ Moore. And now you're actually in a very bad position. It's 4th and 4. There's 18 seconds left. You have no timeouts. And ideally you could have gotten the 1st down, but at this point, you might not have enough time to get down there and spike it. You can try for a sideline shot, but there's not much field to cover, so they can cover that pretty well. You're kind of forced to go for it all. So, Caleb Williams takes the snap. He dances around for a little bit, drops back about 10 yards, and Rams break through. So now you've got 2 Rams defenders chasing after Caleb Williams, and he is just running backwards, running in the complete opposite direction of the end zone. He's running back 5 yards, 10 yards, 15 yards, and now he's all 25 yards from where he started. He's at the 40-yard line. He finally stops, turns around with the pressure right in his face. He slings it towards the back of the end zone. And what do you know? Cole Kmet is standing there wide open, catches the ball, ties the game. Bears somehow don't lose. It's the most insane sequence I think I've watched. I've seen a lot of great football, and this was truly like jaw on the floor. What just happened? How did they do it? How do they always do it? Still in awe, to be honest. It one of the most impressive throws I have seen in a game. Just conditions and everything riding on it the whole season, riding on that throw. Caleb Williams showing why he was the first quarterback taken in that draft. I gotta hand it to him. Unreal throw. So, Rams, they get the ball, but they just kneel it out, go to overtime. And so, Bears, they win the overtime toss. They choose to kick. Rams get the ball. They get an 8-yard run on first down, and then a 1-yard run sets them up for 3rd and 1. And on 3rd and 1, they lose 2 yards. Bad play call, in my opinion. 3rd and 2, and you pitch it back like 4 yards to Blake Corum. So he gets tackled for a 2-yard loss. Now you're forced with a 4th and 3. They make the wise decision to punt. But now Chicago just needs a field goal to win the game. So the Rams season looks over. Chicago, it was a booming kick. They get the ball at their 16-yard line. They start with a 12-yard pass. Then they lose 3 yards on a run. Then 9-yard pass. 4-yard run sets them up for 1st and 10 from the 38-yard line. They got another 4th down coming up. 6-yard pass, negative 2-yard run, and then on 3rd down, 5-yard pass. So it leaves them with 4th and 1 at their own 47-yard line. And of course, you're not going to punt it back to the Rams. Give them a chance to win it with a field goal. You're gonna do what you've been doing all game long and just try and go for it. We get the sneak, and Caleb Williams, he picks up 3 yards. They are now at midfield. They get 2 yards on a Mononga run, and on 2nd and 8, Caleb Williams sees DJ Moore cutting across the field. He's open. He throws it at Moore. And I guess Moore was not expecting the ball. Kind of just like slows down in the route, eases up. Cam Curl sees this, jumps on the opportunity, snatches the ball out of the air, and it's a pick. It's a pick for Caleb Williams. Rams possession. Now they get a chance to win the game with a touchdown or field goal, and that's basically the game. They run it, pass, run. They get all the way down to Chicago 24-yard line. It's a 42-yard field goal, and the kick is good. So Rams win it in overtime, 20-17, in a stunning finish. You live by Caleb Williams, you live by Ben Johnson, you die by Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. What a dynamic duo. One of the most fun teams I have observed in a while. I feel like, the Lions team from a couple years ago, I think I felt pretty much the same way. But no, I think I like this team more. This, as an outsider looking in, I'm not a fan, but I like what they did this season. This Bears team was fun to watch. I don't know how they kept doing it. It was miraculous. Just crazy. Let's talk about stats. Key stat touchdowns. Kyron Williams, 21 carries, 87 yards, 2 touchdowns. Got and then Colby Parkinson, 3 catches for 56 yards. Caleb Williams has 23 of 42 passing for 257, 2 touchdowns, and 3 picks. DeAndre Swift, 19 carries for 76 yards, and Colston Loveland, 4 catches for 56 yards. Offensive player of the game. Had it not been for the mistakes, I'd give it to Williams, but I think when it's all said and done, I'll go with the reliable guy, and Kyron Williams scored both of the Rams' touchdowns and recovered Stafford's fumble in the early second quarter, which could have completely changed the trajectory of the game had the Bears recovered, because it would have set them up at the Rams 20 with a chance to go up 14-7, and they never led by that much. So yeah, they led by 3 at most. So it would have been big. Who knows what would happen? But Williams jumped on the ball, saved that from being a turnover, scored both touchdowns. I think we gotta hand it to him. Defensive player of the game. Gotta go Cam Girl. Team leading 13 tackles, 2 pass breakups, 1 quarterback hit, and the game-saving interception in overtime. Brutal. And now, even though that was, if you're the Rams, that's the play of the game. But I think without a doubt in anyone's mind, the play of the game is going to be that Caleb Williams 4th down pass. I don't know that I've seen something like it. I've seen the Rodgers Hail Marys before. I've seen the Seattle Jermaine Gate curse. I guess Hail Mary. I've seen the Julian Edelman catch. I think this goes up there. With the craziest plays I've ever seen pan out. And obviously the Bears did win, but just back against the wall, you have to make a play. It's already 4th and 4, 18 seconds. 25 yards from the line of scrimmage, hauls it into the end zone. It's like a 50-yard pass, perfectly to the hands of an open Colquhoun. I can't believe it. I can't believe the Chicago Bears every single week would go down, and every single week would somehow pull off this comeback in the most unbelievable fashion. I truly think there's no better comparison for Caleb Williams than Tyrese Halliburton in the playoffs last year. Both of these two guys, you watch them go down, the ball's in their hand at the end of the game, and you just kind of expect them to hit either the game-tying shot, the game-winning shot, or the dagger. Iceman could not be a more fitting nickname. This guy's crazy. Fun to watch. I think on the Rams side of things, it was shaky. You won the game, but there are some calls I did not like in this game. Specifically 3rd and 10, running it with 2 minutes left. It's 2-7 on the clock. The Bears have a timeout. There's also 2-minute warning. I don't understand at all what the justification was to not throw the ball there, because the clock's gonna stop either way. So what were you thinking? You were gonna catch them off guard and pick up 10 yards on the run? I think it was a playing to lose moment. I was gonna circle with that play and say this is exactly why the Rams lost this game. And it was close to it, but the late interception from Caleb Williams will cause people to forget that awful decision, in my opinion. Both defenses, gotta hand it to them. They were really good all game long, but especially in the second half, they made the opposing offense fight for every inch. Rams defense did a lot to actually make the turnovers happen. I think that the Bears defense generate a lot of opportunities. They forced a couple fumbles, but Rams were able to jump back on both of them. They had their moments, but it just, they didn't all pan out. Yeah, I think it's laughable. It's amusing seeing how Ben Johnson is so dedicated to going for on fourth down. It's like the gift that keeps on giving. You know it's coming. You wonder if he's gonna shy away, and he never does. But I gotta respect it because I think the underlying intelligence you can tell is still there. Because with the game on the line, so what? 16-17, they just made that crazy play. They could have gone for two. And in the post-game interview, they asked him, why did you not go for two on that play? And he said, look, short game, goal line plays, they just weren't working. We tried them all game long. They had it covered. Play for overtime, try and get the win there. But, like, why beat a dead horse? And I respect the hell out of that answer because he's right. I think he would have been crucified if he went for it there. That's where the aggression. It just, there's a such thing as too much, and that would have been too much. So I like how we went for all the other ones, but when it mattered most, he made the right move. So good coaching. And yeah, I say this as a Patriots fan, as a Drake May for MVP type of guy, very, very much overjoyed with the amount of success that the Patriots have seen this year and the turnaround that they've had. But that being said, I do think Ben Johnson deserves Coach of the Year. Because with Vrabel, what he has done from 4 wins to 14, it's miraculous. But we know that he's a good head coach. We've seen him do it in Tennessee. He took an untalented roster, took them all the way to the 1 seed. We knew eventually he was going to be head coach in this league again, and that he was going to do a good job of it. With Ben Johnson, we knew the kind of offensive coordinator that he was. We didn't know how he was going to pan out as a head coach. And to go to a division rival in the most competitive division in football last year, where the Packers made the playoffs and both the Rams and the Lions won 15 games apiece. To walk into that division and not only win it, but win a playoff game and nearly win a second. I think he had high expectations, as the city of Chicago has been suffering for years and years and years. He helped Detroit out of their dark ages. And he walks into Chicago and he does the same, just this time as a head coach. You know, he's a complete unknown. We've seen the Bears suffer relentlessly for years on end. The last little bit of hope they had was with the double doink here and Mitch Trubisky, but it's just failed quarterback after failed quarterback. You see the Mahomes mock draft, all the stuff with that, and they finally get their guys. You have a stud in Ben Johnson, you have a stud in Caleb Williams. This pairing is a match made in heaven. He's totally unlocked them, and for the year that Caleb has had, for the season that the Bears have had, I think it's very impressive. I'm rooting for the Patriots to win it all. I'm rooting for Drake May to win the MVP, but I think Coach of the Year, I gotta tip my hat to Ben Johnson. I think he deserves it. That's a hell of a team that he's put together. And that does it for this video. Those are all my thoughts on all 4 divisional games in the next round. Just briefly, Stidham versus his whole team. I got the Patriots. I do might make it tough. It's gonna be. I don't think that the Patriots offense has been playing that well that they're gonna be able to overcome the Broncos defense. But I think the biggest difference maker in this game is gonna be the Patriots defense versus Jared Stidham, because if they made Herbert and Stroud struggle that much, you're now going against the guy who has less starts than he has years in his career. I don't know how that could end well for them, but if he comes out, shocks the world, then it is what it is. But I got the Patriots in the AFC, and in the NFC, based on what I saw, I think the Seahawks are the team to beat. But I'm not gonna pick them. I think they're clearly the better team. But for the sake of my bracket that I made before the playoffs started, I had the Rams. And I think the Rams, since their first game against the Panthers, minus the exception of one Cardinals game, have really just played to the level of their opponents. Whether the opponent is really good or really bad, they've been right there in all those games. Like, they've lost to the Falcons, but they've also won these playoff games. It's hard for me to take a look at this coaching staff, this roster, the experience that they have, and discount it. I mean, Sean McVay knows how to win in the postseason. He's done it. McDonald's is still relatively young, unproven. Sam Darnold, same for him. Matthew Stafford, McVay, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams. You got a group of guys who know how to win, who've made deeper postseason runs. Not Devontae Adams as much, but all these guys. It's really just defense. I think the defense, if they can get pressure on Darnold, they can win this game. But I will say I think Seattle's the far better team at the moment, and I think most likely it'll be them in the Super Bowl. But I got the Rams. So that's that. Thank you for watching, and I will see you